So check it out, we got two veiled chameleons here. We have a female on this side and a male on this side. This is the enclosure that I built for them. On the inside here, we got 2x3s and 2x2s for a frame. I do believe we can, we did a little video on the build on this, but I don't think we've done one once it's actually completed. And you gotta use the zero VOC or zero VOC paint, which is animal safe. And then in here we have a bunch of fake plants, vines, and then down here we got a live, I can't remember what kind of tree this is, but this is bioactive, grass growing, and then a fig tree back here, which she actually, the female chameleon actually eats the leaves off of it and whatnot. But I mean, as you can see in the back over here, it's still got some greenery growing. She just ends up eating them all.
So you've switched out the trees in there a few times?
Switched them out? No.
Put different trees in, or?
We've added to it. None of them have died.
Oh,
no.
okay.
And then we keep these little plastic containers in there to put the roaches in and whatnot so they can eat. And yeah, so if you look up underneath here, get the camera on up here, and you can see we got the basking bulbs and the UAV, UVB as well, and those are on daylight timers. And then also underneath, a little add-on that I did is I put 12-inch heat tape underneath. That way there's always a heat source coming up, and to hopefully kind of help dry that soil out and whatnot, because it does get real moist with the amount of water that they get. We are trying something new. I have this little Flowmaster sprayer. So instead of using like a drip system, we just spray the crap out of it twice a day, and that gets them their humidity and moisture and water that they need. Like I said, really spray it down. And chameleons are also, in my opinion, more of a display animal. Not so much, they're not so friendly to hold, at least veileds. I heard you can get them that are friendly and whatnot, but so far ours haven't been. But I mean, either way, they make a really cool display animal. A boreal setup, lots of greenery, super cool enclosure. And then here we got the male. We'll get him out here in a second. And then also got a little surprise. Got some chameleon eggs downstairs in the basement incubating. Actually, I haven't even seen him.
He is down at the bottom.
Oh, I see him now. There he is.
Hanging out upside down.
Yep. So when you go to grab these guys, which, there it is, they don't like to be grabbed. So this is Blue Ninja. Ain't that right, Ryder? Yeah. In which this is the boy chameleon, which you can see how big that crest is on top of his head. Really cool animals.
Yeah.
You want to hold them, Ryder? And then I'll get Ivy out.
He looks scary to hold.
Got him?
Look at his mouth.
So as you can see, this is a male and a female, and that's what happened. This is why you cannot cohab them.
Can I bet her?
Yeah, on the back.
They don't get
Real
along
quick.
very well?
Okay. They're very territorial. Only when it's breeding season. And you can see how dark she's getting too. How she's wiggling back and forth. So we actually got to take him out of sight, which is what this divider wall is for in these enclosures. And I mean, as you see, once you get them out though, they're pretty chill, but they don't really like to be handled a whole lot. And he's got a little stuck shed on his tail. But back off he goes.
I'm just mad.
Yeah, she's real mad.
Yeah. He's gonna bite you, Daddy.
She's gonna try.
Oh my gosh. Is that really what she makes noises?
Yep. Alright. So this is our female, which you can see that crest is a lot shorter. And you can see how dark she was, but now she's lightening up a whole lot. Block the view of that male over there.
Yeah.
and then she'll kind of settle a little bit. Come on, you're all right, girl.
She seems to be. Have you been holding her quite a bit? She's doing pretty well compared to when you first got her.
She's actually more defensive.
Really?
Yeah. But I mean, she's super stressed out. Just seeing that male was a bad idea. You can see how dark she is. And we actually got her from a guy like a year ago. She's about, man, I want to say she's probably 3.5 years old.
Yeah.
She's pretty old for a chameleon. But we'll put her back in here now. And they actually did end up breeding, and she laid eggs, which was super cool. She actually dug into the soil and built a tunnel underneath the ground, and that's where she laid her eggs. And my wife actually had to dig them out because there's like 6 inches of substrate right here, and the enclosure is so wet. I'll show you underneath. I built this whole thing, by the way, or me and Lackey did. A couple buddies had some help. Built this cabinet drawer here, which is where we keep some games and stuff and random chameleon supplies. And then there's also this hose that runs down for the excess water. If there's any running water, it'll drip into the bucket. As you can see, it's dry, which is good. The plants are absorbing most of that water and moisture.
Kind of looks like you did get some water damage on it.
On this side, I must have missed something when I sealed it. Must have missed a little portion because it did end up, getting a little water damage on it.
Overall, I think it looks pretty awesome though, especially in the dining room like this.
Yeah, so it's not first time trying to build a chameleon enclosure. I mean, there's flaws with it, but just like anything, you can always do something better about every time you do it. And then from here up to, this is just to hide all the lights. So this part's actually part of the enclosure, and here up is where, if you want to slide behind here, you can take a peek at it. That's where we keep all the lights and the dripping system and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to come to the other side of this thing now, I'll show you where we got the heat tape and all that. So the heat tape's right underneath here on the bottom below the soil. We got a thermostat still on it. You always want to run thermostats with heat tape, no matter what. So you got it set at 89 degrees. This is the daylight timer for all the other lights. It's a crazy mess, but yeah.
All right.
That's the chameleons.
I'm ready to go check out the eggs.
All right, let's go. Well, here are the chameleon eggs that we got here. We had 37 of them, and we're down to 36 now. And the snake room is the incubator. And bada bing, bada boom.
So you don't have to have an actual incubator to put them in?
No, their incubation is actually around 79 to 80 degrees, which I just moved it over here and it bumped up a little bit. But yeah, and then you see the moisture on the sides there just a little bit. That's exactly what you want. And chameleon eggs actually incubate for 180 days.
So it's a lot longer than a snake.
Woo, whole lot longer. Yeah, ball python, well, I guess it depends on the snake. Ball python, around 55 days, give or take 5 days, I guess. Retics, berms, I think those are 90 to 100 days if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, for a tiny little lizard, man, a chameleon, and 37 eggs popped out of her too. That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be off the chain. My wife's super excited. This is her project.
Mm.
I can't claim it all, but we work together on the chameleons.
So what all did you put in there with the eggs?
This is vermiculite.
Vermiculite?
Yes, incubation substrate.
So you water it every once in a while, or?
Nope, only the first time you put it in. And I mean, that really should be all that we do need to, all we need to water it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you just put it in. Can't remember if it's like 1/3 water. I'd have to look on the bag, but just go by feel. You want to be able to squeeze it and not actually wring it out.
Mm-hmm.
You want it moist.
Do you slice these eggs like you do with ball python?
No, we're not gonna cut them. These are just gonna go all natural, and hopefully they all make it. I mean, it's the first time, so we could do everything as good as we can and just hope for the best.
The coolest thing about the chameleons is how little the babies are when they hatch.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty crazy how tiny they are.
Oh yeah. So, and that's another thing. We'll be doing a video on that, I'm sure, soon. Setting up a baby chameleon enclosure. But like I said, we got time. June or July is when we're looking for these to hatch.
Wow.
A long time, yeah.
All right.
So.
Well, there's our chameleon video.
Yep.
Peace out.
Have a good one.